On the way to pick up my daughter from school, my phone rang. It was a number I had long since deleted. Yet the moment those digits appeared, I knew exactly who it was. "Kevin, Andy, Lily, and I are getting married next month," he said without much greeting. "The date was set a bit hastily and she needs a bridesmaid. You're an old acquaintance of hers after all. Come back and help out." I simply replied okay and hung up from the back seat. Eva looked up at me with her wide curious eyes. "Mom, who was that?" she asked. "An old friend," I said. "He's getting married and invited us back for the wedding." "Really?" she asked, excited. I've never been to a wedding before. I had planned to cut ties with anything related to Kevin, but in the end I couldn't completely ignore it. He had funded my studies abroad during university, and now that he was getting married I felt I should show up. Besides, Eva had never visited our home country. This seemed like a good chance for her to meet the relatives. As soon as the plane landed, Kevin said he would come to pick me up. I told him not to bother. Deep down I knew he wouldn't come alone, and I didn't want Eva to see him yet, so I asked my sister to bring her on a later flight. "Long time no see, Andy," a voice called out. "Come on, call me sister." Kevin hadn't come alone. Lily was with him along with her daughter. "Mom, who is this?" the little girl asked. Lily hesitated, unsure how to explain. She glanced at Kevin in confusion. Kevin took the child's hand. "Sophia, this is Daddy's sister." The girl looked puzzled. "But that's not right. If she's Daddy's sister, she should be called Aunt." Kevin picked her up and gently tapped her nose. "My girl is growing up. She's even smarter than her dad." Lily quickly looped her arm through Kevin's and gave me a polite but awkward smile. "Andy, thank you so much for coming. It means a lot. I know it's a small event and you had to fly all the way here. We were originally planning to get married the year after next, but Kevin couldn't wait. He said it was too far off and moved the date forward. Everything feels rushed now and a lot of things aren't ready. I really need you to talk to him. He's so impatient about everything." I had no interest in entertaining her. I walked past her and looked straight at Kevin. "I've called a cab. I'm leaving." Before Kevin could answer, the little girl chimed in, frowning. "Mom, this aunt is rude. I don't want her to be my aunt." "Don't say that," Lily scolded, lightly tapping her daughter's hand. Then she turned to me. "Andy, please don't take it to heart. She's just a child. She doesn't mean it." But Sophia's eyes filled with tears. She struggled in Kevin's arms and suddenly burst into loud sobs. Lily quickly took her, trying to soothe her as she stepped away, leaving just Kevin and me standing there. Kevin's expression darkened. "Andy, so many years have passed and you still refuse to face reality. This is between adults. Why bring the child into it? Lily gave up time from wedding preparations just to pick you up. And this is how you treat her." He stepped closer. "After this wedding, I hope you go back to your life. Let's not see each other again." He turned and walked away. I watched them disappear into the crowd, their figures growing blurry. I let out a soft laugh. Eva and my sister's flight was arriving around the same time, so I stayed at the airport to wait. As I sat there, I replayed Kevin's words in my mind. Before I knew it, tears rolled down my cheeks. I wiped them away and made a silent promise to myself. After this wedding, I would never let Kevin be part of my life again. I never imagined that after 6 years apart, meeting him again would still bring so much pain. When Eva saw me, she ran straight into my arms. "Mom, are you crying? Did someone bully you?" I gently patted her head. "No, sweetheart, as long as I have you, no one can bully me." Later that night, after Eva fell asleep, I found myself scrolling through Facebook. Kevin had just posted photos. His daughter had won first place in a children's athletic event. "So proud of my girl," the caption read. In the picture, Kevin held the child with pride. Lily stood beside him, her arm wrapped around his. The three of them smiled like a picture-perfect family, more real than the one we used to be. Back then, Lily had gotten pregnant unexpectedly. The baby's father fled overseas, unwilling to take responsibility. Lily didn't want the child to grow up without a father, so she turned to Kevin, and just as I feared, he stepped in. He stayed with her through the pregnancy, caring for her every need. I had begged him to come back to me, cried countless nights, but he only grew colder. I still remember the night he exploded, smashing the glass coffee table. "Andy, be reasonable," he had yelled. "She's 9 months pregnant. This is when she needs support. If anything happens to her or the baby, won't you feel guilty? But it's not even my child, I had cried. Why should I care if she had made better choices? She wouldn't be in this situation, I continued, shaking. Enough. Kevin had snapped. If you need to blame someone, blame me for not being there, for failing to protect her. Now, years later, nothing had really changed, and I realized with painful clarity that it was finally time to let go for good. I was so angry that I went straight to confront Lily. Lily, this child is not Kevin's. What right do you have to make him take responsibility? I demanded. Kevin loves me. That love, even if it fades, still leaves traces. Isn't that simple truth clear to you? But before I could say much more, Lily clutched her stomach, claimed she felt unwell, and asked the servant to take her to the hospital. Kevin, of course, was alarmed and rushed to her side without hesitation. About a month before Lily's due date, Kevin came to speak with me. Andy, he said, Lily will give birth next month. I do not want her upset by anything that might involve you. You have always wanted to study abroad for graduate school, right? I have made arrangements for you. Everything is set. The flight leaves the day after tomorrow. A driver will take you straight to the university. If it had been in the past, I never would have stepped aside. But now I understood a love forced is never sweet. I did not cry or argue. I simply said all right. Later, there was a rehearsal before the wedding. After all, the G family was wealthy and powerful, and the wedding had to be flawless. Kevin called and asked me to come over, saying he wanted to go over details. When I walked in, Lily was fixing her makeup. Andy, you're here, she said, giving me a brief glance, before looking toward the child in the corner who was busy playing. Sophia, look who's here, she called out. The girl glanced up at me for just a second, her expression full of disdain, then turned right back to her game. Lily frowned. Sophia, is that how your parents taught you to behave? When a guest arrives, you should greet them politely. Still no response. So Lily walked over and snatched the game console from her hands, clearly annoyed. Sophia finally shuffled over to me and, without even looking up, spat near my feet and muttered, hello, Auntie. Lily quickly came over, trying to smooth things over. Sophia, what is the matter with you? This is Daddy's sister, not Mommy's. You should call her Aunt. If your father saw this, he would be furious. Apologize to your aunt right now. Sophia lifted her chin defiantly. Daddy loves me. He would never scold me. I'm not apologizing. If you want, go ahead and bring Daddy here. Lily awkwardly patted the girl's shoulder, trying to calm her, but Sophia bolted toward the door. I instinctively reached out and grabbed her arm, but she wriggled free in an instant. Lily looked stunned, perhaps not expecting me to push back. Then she forced a smile. Andy, please don't be upset. Sophia was just playing around. There is a difference between teasing and disrespect, I said flatly. She spat on me. Is that how she plays with you too? Seeing that I was taking this seriously, Lily sighed. You can blame Kevin. He spoils her too much and never lets me discipline her. That is why she behaves this way. Kids are difficult these days. You will understand when you have your own. I gave a faint hum in response. If you can't manage your own child, maybe don't rush to blame the child. Just then Eva ran in. Mom, she called. My sister stepped in behind her. I have some urgent work at the company, she explained. I can't stay, so I brought Eva over to you. Lily's eyes widened in surprise. Is this your child? Before I could answer, Eva tugged at my arm. Mom, I need the bathroom. I ignored Lily and said excuse us and took Eva with me. Maybe because I had just returned and was not used to the local food, I suddenly had a bout of diarrhea. I asked Eva to wait outside the restroom. After a while she started crying, probably because she had been waiting too long. I rushed out only to hear Kevin's voice. Little one, what's wrong? Mom is inside and hasn't come out for a long time. Eva said she has a stomach ache. I think she's not feeling well. Kevin looked concerned and was about to ask the waitress for help. When I walked out, Eva immediately ran into my arms. Mom. Kevin stood frozen. Let me introduce you, I said calmly. This is my daughter Eva. His face went pale. Your biological daughter. I nodded. Kevin's expression changed instantly. He shouted, Andy, how dare you get married and have a child without telling me? I stayed calm. Mr. Kevin, didn't you say I could do anything I wanted, as long as I didn't interfere with you and Lily? Eva looked scared and shrank closer to me. Kevin stared at her, something flickering in his eyes. He knelt down, his tone softening. Your name is Eva, right? Eva looked to me. I gave her a small nod. She held up one hand. I am 5 years old. Kevin's face darkened further. Eva, can you tell me who your father is? I picked Eva up ready to leave. Kevin grabbed my wrist, his voice rising again. Andy, is this really necessary? I turned around to face him. What do you mean? He let go of my arm and sneered. Do you really think that having a child like Lily will make me jealous? That I will change my mind and come back to you? That is just pathetic. I had no intention of arguing, but his words left me speechless. I gave a cold laugh. Kevin, I suggest you stop living in your fantasy. This child has nothing to do with you, and once the wedding is over I will take Eva abroad and never return. Mr. Kevin, you can rest assured. Using a child to threaten the rightful position of a wife is something I will never do. I did not look at Kevin's expression, but I could guess it was not pleasant. A waiter passed by and told him that Lily was looking for him. He replied, sounding impatient. Got it? Letting her wait a little will not kill her. It was only after I walked away that Eva finally dared to speak. Mom, who was that uncle just now? I did not know how to explain my relationship with Kevin to her. The truth was the Kevin family and my family, the Zoes, had been old friends. But after my father went bankrupt, he fled overseas. And my mother, after entrusting me to Kevin's mother for care, vanished without a trace. I basically grew up under Kevin's protection. We were typical childhood sweethearts. After we both got into the same university, our feelings for each other deepened. He even gave up a chance to marry into a wealthy family just to be with me. His parents were always kind to me. They not only accepted our relationship but even treated me as the future daughter-in-law. Kevin and I had always been close until Lily showed up. From that moment, all the sweetness we had fell apart. Seeing me lost in thought, Eva tugged at my sleeve and asked, Mom, why are you not saying anything? That uncle, is he your brother? I've never heard you say you have a brother. I smiled faintly and replied, he is not very close to me. You have never met him before, so Mom forgot to mention him. That is my fault. Then should I call him uncle or Mom's brother? Eva asked, tilting her head. I looked at her face for a moment but did not answer. There were still a few days left before the wedding, and around that time the flu was spreading fast. My sister was the first to get infected. Since Eva and I had spent a lot of time around her, we did not escape it either. Eva started running a high fever again and again. Even with medication and injections, she was not getting better. I had no choice but to take her to the hospital again. Unexpectedly, we ran into Kevin there. He was with Lily and Sophia. Kevin was holding a very weak-looking Sophia who seemed seriously ill. Lily was the first to speak. Andy, is your child all right? He is fine, thank you for asking, I replied calmly. This flu has been really troublesome, she continued. Sophia keeps coughing non-stop at home, but luckily Kevin has been taking good care of her. A child catching a cold is no small matter. You have to be really careful. I could not help but cough softly a few times. My head was spinning, but I still pushed myself to bring Eva to the hospital, hoping she would recover faster. Kevin unconsciously stepped forward, still holding Sophia, and asked, is Eva all right? His action clearly displeased Lily, but she kept her tone light and joked. We mothers are tough for our kids. No matter how hard it is, we bear it, Kevin. Sophia is not wearing a mask, Lily added, her smile still polite, but words pointed. The hospital is full of people. If she gets reinfected, it will not be good. Let us not delay Andy any longer. She still needs to see the doctor. In the end, the child will be the one who suffers. I understood exactly what she meant, but for Eva's sake I chose not to argue. Kevin frowned slightly. I turned to leave, but then I heard him call out Andy. When I looked back, I saw him placing Sophia in Lily's arms and walking toward me. Mr. Kevin, is there something else? I asked quietly. You do not look well either. It is not easy taking care of a child on your own. If you need anything, before he could finish, I cut him off. No need to be so polite, Mr. Kevin. If I need help, I will ask the doctor or a nurse. But thank you for your kindness. Kevin stood there for a moment, visibly conflicted. Then, still uneasy, he followed us. Just as he reached out to take Eva from my arms, Sophia began to cry again. Lily bent down and tried to soothe her. Sophia, be good. Mommy knows you are not feeling well, but Daddy has to help another child for now. He will be back soon. All right, please do not cry. Kevin looked at Eva again, hesitating, then turned to me. You go ahead, I will stay with Sophia. I do not need your help, I said softly. Sophia's cries grew louder. If you need anything, just call me, I will come right away, Kevin added. Then he hurried back and picked up Sophia. Lily took hold of his arm and quickly pulled him away. I stayed with Eva as she received her drip. She was more energetic than when we first arrived. As for me, my head throbbed so badly that I kept pressing her hand to my forehead. Eva pulled out a warm water bottle from the bag and gently placed it on my head. Mom, I know you do not feel well either. Once I finish the drip, we can get you checked too, all right? I gave her a gentle smile and said, Eva, you are such a good girl. You are growing up and now you can take care of Mom. She glanced at a nearby family of 3, then turned to me and whispered, Mom, it would be great if Dad were here. That way you would not have to do everything alone. I pulled her into my arms and said softly, Eva, be good. Mommy is not tired. But somehow I blacked out. When I woke up, I saw Eva sitting beside me holding my hand. I let out a long breath and quickly grasped her hand tighter. Mommy, you are finally awake, she said, hugging me tightly. I patted her back gently, though my head was still pounding. Just as I was about to ask her what had happened, Kevin walked in, carrying a pot of hot water. Why are you here? I asked, surprised. You fainted? He said, Eva could not wake you up. She went to find a doctor, but luckily I ran into her and came over right away. He poured a cup of warm water and handed it to me, then called for the nurse. Gently, he knelt down and placed his hands on Eva's small shoulders. Eva, sweetheart, can you go outside and play with the nurse for a little while? Your uncle and I need to talk. Eva gave me a curious glance. I could tell from the way Kevin looked at both of us the moment he stepped in. He had noticed something. That look in his eyes was not just suspicion. And knowing Kevin, if he sensed something was off, he would not stop until he got answers. I nodded gently and the nurse took Eva by the hand and led her out. Kevin turned to me, his voice tense. Andy, why did you lie to me? Why did you hide everything? I looked at him blankly, unsure how to respond. I just looked at Eva's medical records, he said. She is already 6. That means she was born before you went abroad. Don't read too much into it, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. The hospital must have made a mistake. Eva is 5 years old. Andy, he said, eyes reining. She is my daughter, isn't she? No, I said firmly. She is not your child. His voice dropped, but the intensity remained. How long are you going to keep lying to me? Then tell me if she is not mine. Who is her father? Where is he? You do not need to know that he is abroad. We have a good relationship, and Eva is happy. You do not need to worry about her. How can you be so cold? Kevin snapped. I just asked her and she said she doesn't have a father, only a mother. Now tell me the truth. Is she really mine? She only meant her father is not in the country, I said quietly. You misunderstood. He wanted to press further, but I knew by now he already knew. He did not need more proof. He just wanted me to admit it because unless I said it out loud, even if he was her father, he would have no claim. Dad, Kevin and I turned at the same time. Standing in the doorway was Sophia, Lily's daughter. Kevin didn't acknowledge her. His gaze immediately shifted to Lily standing behind her. What are you doing here? He asked, clearly irritated. I asked the doctor where you were, Lily replied calmly. Sophia was not feeling well. She kept crying to see her dad. I had no choice. Sophia, let's go, Lily said softly. Daddy is busy right now. But Sophia pulled free from her hand and ran into Kevin's arms. I don't want to go. I want Daddy to stay. Tell me a story. Daddy, please. Kevin glanced at me, clearly torn. Sophia clung to his hand and burst into loud sobs. Daddy, do you not want me anymore? Please don't leave me. Sophia is scared. In the end, Kevin picked her up and left with her. I slowly got out of bed and went looking for Eva. I asked her what Kevin had said to her earlier. Her reply was nearly the same as what Kevin told me. We walked back to the ward together. Eva was quiet, not as lively as usual. She looked a little lost in thought. thought. Eva, what's wrong? I asked gently. Mom, she said in a soft voice. Who exactly is that strange uncle? Why does he keep asking about Eva's dad? Eva does not have a dad, right? Didn't I tell you? I said with a faint smile. His mommy's brother. He has not seen me in a long time, so he's curious about how we're doing abroad. Eva gave a small nod, trying to understand. When will Uncle come back again? She asked, gazing up at me. My body froze. A strange feeling swept over me. Could it be that deep down something inside Eva had already sensed the bond between them? Uncle is very busy with work, I said slowly. He cannot come see Eva often, and soon we will be going home. He lives far away, so visiting will not be easy. Her smile faded. Her expression grew dim. I just saw Uncle holding a little girl's hand. Is that his daughter? I nodded, and suddenly my heart ached. This was not the first time Kevin had chosen Lily's child over Eva. When I found out I was pregnant, Kevin had already been gone for over a month. He stopped answering my calls. At first I was torn, excited but also uncertain. We both had always wanted children. There were so many times I had rested in his arms imagining our baby. He had said he wanted a daughter. He even picked a name, Sophia. He wanted her to grow up calm and sheltered from emotional pain. But I never expected him to give that name to Lily's child. Before going to the hospital, I had decided to tell him about the pregnancy in person, but he refused to meet me. I waited outside his company for hours. I told myself I would not leave until I saw him. Then his assistant sent a message. Lily was in his office. I was told not to cause trouble. If I upset her and something happened to the baby, he would never forgive me. That message shattered something inside me. My hands trembled so hard I could not hold the medical report. I wanted to go to the hospital, but I was so distraught. I gave the driver the wrong address. He brought me back home. I collapsed on the cold floor and cried until I could not cry anymore. That night I made a decision. I would leave. Soon after, Kevin arranged for someone to send me abroad. He thought he was helping me, but all it did was confirm to me that I had to cut him out of my life completely. From that moment on, I vowed he would never know about Eva. Over the years, I saw him post photos of Lily's daughter again and again. I often wondered, did he ever think about the daughter he never got to watch grow up? Just a few days after I was discharged from the hospital, Kevin sent me a message. Andy, so much has happened. Why did you never tell me? I knew that with his resources and determination, it would not have been hard for Kevin to uncover my life abroad over the past few years. He had asked to meet at a cafe we used to go to often. At this point, avoiding the issue was no longer an option. If I truly wanted to resolve everything, I had to face it directly. You already know everything, I said quietly. Kevin did not answer. Instead, he slowly pushed a paternity test report across the table toward me. His hands were shaking slightly as he picked up his coffee. A few drops spilled, landing on the edge of the report. He looked at me cautiously. Andy, he said, his voice low. How have you and Eva been these past few years, Mr. Kevin? I replied, keeping my tone calm. Whether we have been well or not is a matter between my daughter and me. It has nothing to do with you. His expression shifted. Andy, you had Eva. Why did you not tell me before you went abroad? Why, if you had known about Eva earlier? I gave him a faint, bitter smile. Kevin, you really do forget kindness too easily. Have you forgotten how you treated me back then? You forced me to leave again and again for Lily's sake. I paused, my voice growing colder. Do you remember what you said? You told me that if my presence ever disturbed Lily's child, you would never forgive me, even if it cost you your life. I was just a woman with a child, powerless to fight back. I was scared you would hurt us. I looked straight into his eyes now. The fear I once had was gone. Years have passed and I am not that helpless girl anymore. I will not run again. Kevin lowered his head, shame clouding his face. When he looked up, he could not meet my gaze. Instead, he beat his chest with his fists. It was all my fault, he cried, his voice cracking. I wronged you and Eva. I do not deserve to be called human. I picked up my coffee and took a small sip. Watching him punish himself did nothing for me. Even if he threw himself to the ground today, he would not receive a single word of forgiveness from me. Mr. Kevin, I said coldly, if you invited me here just to put on a show, then we are wasting time. Eva is waiting for me at home. I reached for my bag and started to stand, but Kevin grabbed both my hands tightly. His grip was desperate. Andy, I know I was wrong. I was afraid Lily could not handle being left, that she might do something to herself. Sending you abroad. I only wanted you to reflect reflect on your character. I always planned to bring you back once you finished your studies. He looked at me with pleading eyes. Now that you are back, can you give me a chance for Eva's sake? At least I believe she wants her father by her side. I have been gone too long. Let me make it up to you both. Let me stay with you and care for you, please. I could not help but laugh, a bitter, exhausted laugh. Mr. Kevin, please, I said, do not make me laugh again. What about Lily? Are you not afraid she will be hurt again? You are such a kind person. Why not go all the way and do another good deed? I picked up my bag once more. Eva and I are doing well. We are happy. So please show us some mercy and stop using us for your guilt. Yes, Eva wants a father, but what would she say if she knew the man who abandoned her did it for another child? Kevin flinched. He understood exactly what I meant. He stood as if to stop me, but then froze, unable to take a single step. I walked out of the cafe. Through the glass I saw him collapse into his chair. He grabbed at his hair wildly, then slammed his coffee cup onto the floor. It shattered loudly. A waiter rushed over to check on him. Kevin flipped the table over in frustration, sending more cups crashing to the ground. As I stepped into the car, I could still hear his anguished cries echoing down the street. Not long after Kevin called off the wedding with Lily, the news exploded online, setting off a wave of public debate. By that time, I had already packed our bags. I was planning to take Eva abroad again, this time for good. My sister and brother-in-law had secured a new investment from foreign backers, and we were preparing to start a business together in a new country. No matter how powerful the G family was, their reach would not extend that far. I had made up my mind to settle down overseas and give Eva a peaceful life, far from the tangled mess of love and resentment tied to her father. I never told Eva about my past with Kevin. I wanted her to grow up in a sweet, gentle world, where she would never have to carry the weight of my mistakes. What I did not expect was Lily's reaction. She blamed me entirely for the cancelled wedding, accusing me of plotting everything in secret, and even threatening Kevin using the child. I had always known she would not accept defeat so easily, not after losing something she had been about to claim. Then I heard the most chilling news. Kevin had announced publicly that Sophia was not a child of the G family. That truth, combined with the wedding cancellation, drove Lily to the edge. I had expected her to lash out at me, but I never thought she would go as far as to have Eva kidnapped that day. My sister had taken Eva to the amusement park. Halfway through the visit, she called me in a panic. Eva is gone. I reported it to the police and rushed to the scene. In that moment, a message Lily had sent me days ago flashed through my mind. Andy, if you do not give Kevin back to me, I will take him away. I opened that message again. There was no punctuation, no full stop. At the time, I thought she meant she wanted to win Kevin back. I never imagined she meant something else entirely. Now I knew I had completely misunderstood her, and I had underestimated what she was truly capable of. I sent the message to the police, and they immediately began tracking Lily's whereabouts. But it was as if she and Sophia had vanished into thin air. Desperate, I thought Kevin might be able to reach her, so I made the difficult decision to call him. Kevin arrived quickly, assuring me that he had already sent people out to search. He told me not to worry and promised that he would bring Eva back safely. Just as he spoke, my phone buzzed again. It was a message from Lily. Andy, why did you return? Because of you, Sophia lost her father. You ruined everything for us. Now your daughter is with me. If you want her back, you'll have to exchange your life for hers. I immediately handed the phone to the police. Kevin, trying to buy time, took me and his bodyguards to the location Lily had sent. When we arrived, I saw Lily standing there. Her hair was a mess, and the moment her eyes landed on me, she let out a piercing scream. When she saw Kevin beside me, her face twisted with emotion. Then, without warning, she began to laugh uncontrollably. The sound shrill and wild, it was clear her mind was not stable. Husband, hurry, she shouted, waving at Kevin. I brought our daughter back for you. Let's get rid of that woman and live happily together, the four of us. Kevin stepped forward slowly, stopping me with one hand. Lily, he said gently, you still care about me, don't you? Let me take Eva first. I will make sure she doesn't get taken away again. Lily hesitated for a moment. It seemed like Kevin's words had reached her, but then her eyes darkened and she grabbed Eva, backing toward the cliff behind her. You lied to me, she screamed. You and that woman tricked me. If I can't have peace, then neither can continue. My heart felt like it dropped off the edge with her. But before she could do anything, Kevin spoke in a calm, steady voice. Lily, I already have Sophia, he said. If you hurt Eva, Sophia will suffer the same fate. If you want your daughter to be safe, put Eva down. Lily froze. She had not expected Kevin to use her child against her. Her arms slowly went limp and she sank to the ground in shock. Seeing his chance, Kevin exchanged a look with his bodyguard. The man quickly stepped forward, distracting Lily. In that moment of confusion, he pulled Eva from her arms. Lily reached out trying to grab Eva back, but Kevin stepped in front of her. With one push, Lily stumbled backward off the cliff. The drop behind her was deep and dark. The police had just arrived and stood behind Kevin as he walked over to the bodyguard, took Eva into his arms and gently handed her to me. Then he raised his hands and was taken into custody without protest. Lily died instantly. Only later did I learn the truth. Kevin had really arranged for someone to take Sophia away. I asked him why he had done it. He said Lily's only weakness was Sophia. As long as Sophia was with us, we had leverage. It was the only way to keep Eva safe. No matter what happened between us, Eva was someone I had once truly protected. Before returning abroad, I went to see Kevin one last time. You came, he said softly, eyes wet with tears. I've been waiting. I came to say goodbye, I replied. Eva and I are leaving the country. We will not be back. Andy, you are still angry, Kevin said, his voice trembling. I never loved Lily. I married her because the Sue family had evidence that could destroy the G family. I needed to protect our name. That wedding was just a move in a bigger game. I sent you abroad not just because of Lily, but because Group was in danger. You were my only weakness. I was afraid they would use you to hurt me. My original plan was to bring you back and marry you after your studies. I was wrong. Please do not take Eva away. I will do everything I can to shorten my sentence and be a better man. I cannot bear the thought of you raising Eva alone in another country. I no longer listened to his excuses. No matter how many reasons or explanations he gave, they all sounded meaningless now. I knew that the moment Lily showed up, he must have hesitated. Still, I said thank you for saving Eva. I was about to hang up when Kevin looked at me, eyes pleading. Andy, is there any chance that one day Eva and I could meet again? I shook my head. Please do not disturb our lives anymore. I know Eva would not want that either. Respect our wishes. I ended the call. Kevin sat in silence, broken. Just as I was leaving the airport, his parents caught up with us. When they saw Eva, they rushed forward and hugged her tightly. Eva stayed calm, not frightened by the sudden affection. When they finally let go, she quietly walked over to me, took my hand and said, Mom, let's go. Eva never wants to come back. I only need you. Tears of joy filled my eyes. I crouched down and whispered, Eva, you are the best. Later, from Kevin's point of view, I learned one final detail. That day his assistant had told him I was waiting downstairs, but he had been in the middle of a business negotiation with Eric and did not want anyone from the other company to see me. And in that brief delay, our paths finally split forever. I knew all too well how ruthless the Sue family could be. If they ever discovered that Andy was my greatest weakness, they would not hesitate to use her as a bargaining chip at the negotiation table. Andy had been waiting at the door the entire time. My assistant said he refused to leave unless he saw me. In desperation, I told the assistant to pass along a message that Lily was in the office. I did not want Andy's presence upsetting her, to convince Andy to agree to the plan of going abroad. I even threatened her. I said that if anything happened to Lily's child because of her, I would never forgive her. In the end, Andy followed the plan. She left everything behind and went overseas to study. I kept posting photos of the child on Facebook, not just to show off, but to let Andy see me. Even though I knew she had already given up on me, maybe even hated me, I still hoped she might miss me. I would sneak in a few selfies while posting pictures of the child, thinking that maybe, just maybe, she would look at them. It was pathetic, but it was the only way I could feel even slightly connected to her. My marriage to Lily had never been about love. It was a decision made under pressure. The Sue family had obtained damaging information about the G family's business dealings. We received news that they planned to stir up online attacks, aiming to tarnish the family's reputation. At that time, we were seeking a partnership with Mr. Shia, who cared deeply about public perception. If the Sue family acted during such a critical period, we could lose the opportunity. After weighing all the risks, the only solution was to stage a grand wedding, a strategic move to shift public attention. The couple image that Lily and I had built over the years finally served a purpose. With fans fueling the excitement, we managed to drown out the negative press for a while. I had hoped that once the investment was secured and the G family stabilized, I could go abroad to find Andy and explain everything. But deep down I also had selfish reasons. I wanted to use the wedding as an excuse to lure her back, to see if she still cared, to see if she would be jealous. When she finally returned to the country, I planned to pick her up myself. But Lily insisted on coming along, and with no time to argue, I took them both. The moment Andy looked at me, there was nothing in her eyes, not even the faintest flicker of recognition or warmth. It was like I was a complete stranger. That single look shattered me completely. Later, outside the restroom, I saw a little girl standing there. Something about her felt familiar, a bit too familiar. But it was not until she called Andy Mom that the truth hit me. Andy had really gotten married. She had a child. I tried to convince myself that she was only pretending, that this was some little girl she had brought along to provoke me. But no matter how I tried to push the thought away, the image of the child's face stayed with me. She looked so much like Andy. On the eve of the wedding, I stayed late at the office to avoid Lily, but she showed up anyway, carrying Sophia, who was burning with fever. I told her to take the child to a doctor, but she insisted I take them myself. If I did not, she threatened to let the fever continue. Left with no choice, I went with them to the hospital. I never expected to see Andy and Eva there. Andy was carrying Eva, looking pale and unsteady. I offered to help, but he refused and walked away. Still worried, I quickly arranged for Sophia to rest in the lounge and went after them. I followed them onto a 4D experience ride. I sat just a row behind. Midway through, Eva became frantic. Andy had fainted. I rushed forward, carried him out, and found a doctor. That day, by complete accident, I saw Eva's medical records. That was when I realized she might be my daughter. I confronted Andy, and though he said little, his reaction told me everything. I felt crushed by regret. At the same time, I felt a strange sense of peace. Maybe sending them abroad had truly been the right decision. I returned home and told my parents everything. They were overjoyed to learn they had a granddaughter. As a family, we decided that no matter what happened to the G family's future, I could not go through with the wedding. But I never expected Lily to respond by threatening to end her life. When Andy called and said Eva was missing, it felt like the sky had fallen. I sent people out immediately to look for her. I knew Lily could not have done this alone. Someone from the Sue family must have helped her. Eva was finally found and returned safely. Before leaving the country, Andy agreed to see me one last time. I was grateful for that. I know I am in no position now to offer her a future before she left. I asked my parents to hold our daughter in their arms just once. I can only hope that Andy and Eva can start over in another place, far from all of this, and leave everything behind. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, so feel free to share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more great stories. We'll see you in the next video.